Hit your jingle.
Do 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 do.
I got some shit to say today.
Welcome back to another episode of Heart and Hustle. We are so happy to be here as always.
This one is probably one of my favorite. So episode 7.
Apparently he came with something to say today, so it's gonna be a banger.
It's perfect timing.
It really is. Yeah, why don't you? All right, so this is something that lights him up. And again, as we always say, we are pretty polar opposite. I don't care for this conversation, but I will have it because I have all conversations and it's relevant.
And I'm entertaining.
This just like isn't, not that I don't care for this. This isn't in my wheelhouse of interest per se, but it is very relevant and important. And
It does go off of things that we have mentioned in the previous episodes, though.
yeah, 100%.
So
it makes sense.
Specifically, how you operate daily is how you live your life.
Yes.
So, today's topic of conversation is how being overly devoted to politics, religion, and the news is going to prevent you from getting further ahead.
I'm over here laughing because this is it's gonna get us canceled or like loved. We're gonna find our people through this episode,
One way or the other.
just because the topic is so just tumultuous, whether you agree, disagree, no matter what side of the fence you're on. Just the fact this combo is just one of those things, which is why I typically don't get into it, but super important because when you do overly, oh goodness.
Let's just plug a disclaimer here. We are in no fashion singling out any one group of people for any of these categories because we think one is superior than another. This is to solely focus on opening your eyes to what you might be doing. If this speaks to you, this episode's not going to speak to everybody, but it's probably going to be entertaining enough to watch me rant. But if this is you, this could be an eye-opener to understanding, oh, whoa, I need to take a step back.
Yes. Yeah, these are like blanket, from our view, blanket statements kind of as to what's going on. All right, yeah, so let's get into it.
Let's start with
where okay, so I am not like into politics. Again, this conversation just doesn't light me up. I've never been into it. I didn't understand how people were interested in it. Whatever. It's just like not on my wheelhouse. I don't give a shit about a president necessarily. Or like I do in general care that good things are happening in the world and I have to like have a pulse on what's going on, but it's not in my like wheelhouse of interest. And in my personal development journey, especially when it comes to like entrepreneurship and really stepping into being a business owner, I got really, really specific about the mentors that I followed because I grew up with some limiting beliefs, as everybody does, where like rich people aren't good. Rich people are causing the ozone layer to get thicker or whatever happens. And, people with money are they're the political evils of the world. So all these things in my growing up, I learned subconsciously or whatever that like they were not good. You don't want to be one of those people. And whether I did it on my own or not, I linked politics into that category. So the mentors and business owners and coaches and people that I follow and I choose to learn from all preach in general, in a sense that like basically if they're not into politics either. And if they put all of their energy into politics, they wouldn't be able to create the massive success that they have because they'd be putting their energy into something that at the end of the day, how much are we changing about it? It's usually negative. So it's just the whole point of it is to like rile up an emotion. And everything that we teach and preach and learn is that like you have to look towards the positive. You have to be doing positive things. Like whatever you focus on grows. So if you are tuning into all the turmoil of the world, that's not how you become magnetic. That's not how you attract great things. That's not how you grow your business. That's not how you become the best version of you. And not saying that's right or wrong, but very intentionally, I found people who believe in what I believe in. So the mentors that I follow are also very much like me, and they helped instill in me that like I don't have to go up in arms with the political shit of the world, because at the end of the day, that's not what's going to bring me the success. And I'm choosing not to focus on that, because my little vote, whether I vote or not, but like, I'm not changing that. So why would that be the battle that I take on when I can change everything about my own world? So that's why I said this isn't
It's
something
such a rage bait, clickbait topic. And
I don't like being part of rage.
well, just when sometimes people are looking for a reason to let out whatever they have going on for the day internally, like anger wise or whatever, it's a perfect topic
100%.
to let it out. And sometimes people don't realize how overly devoted they are to it, which is hence the point of the conversation. I think it's completely misguided that your local politicians are the most impactful of your life. I say that because too many people sit here and rant and cry and fuss over who the president of the United States is. And I say that, yes, as we all know, currently the president of the United States is Donald Trump. Everybody has their opinions of him, good, bad, or indifferent. The point of what I'm saying to you is, if you are the person, listen carefully, if you are the type of person that is daily, weekly, monthly complaining over and over and over, and you're making it your mission to point out how bad somebody is at this high of a level of politics, I guarantee you they do not actually interrupt your day-to-day life. They have zero impact for your day-to-day life to get better. Zero. You are not in the tax bracket for it to matter.
At all.
And that's not a dig. I'm just simply saying, like, look at the people that we're referring to that complain daily because it's their life mission, because it's an opposing political party, or they said one thing, so now they're going to rant for the next 2 weeks about it. But then you take a look at all the people that are in that tax bracket for the 1%ers. Do you see them on social media and
regardless of their side
and just berating the fact that the president is a president, or the senator or governor is a senator and the governor? They don't do it. And those people are actually impacted the most by who's in the office. Now, yeah, they have backdoor deals and blah, blah, but we're not going to get into that. The point is, you lose focus on yourself, being able to better yourself, your surroundings, and for your family if you have one, by constantly complaining about something that absolutely has no impact on your day-to-day life of getting you to the next level of succeeding. Zero. It's zero.
And also, not only does it not impact your like success route or any of that, but like, first of all, it's going to negatively impact you by
100%.
focusing on those things.
That's the point of this whole topic. It's just, it brings you negativity, energy, vibes, bad moods. Like,
you're now entering in bad conversations. You are agreeing with like whatever side of the fence again that you're on, but like what you're doing is you're getting with people who have this same negative energy vibe. It's like us versus them, instead of like, let's be the best us possible, or how can we create change? And like, I would say the only exception to this not mattering is if this is like part of your mission. And again, this isn't part of most people's missions. Like, we are all born with like a purpose and a path in life that we are supposed to walk and, you know, grow. But and for some people, politics and being in this world and fighting for these things, that is part of their mission. They are actually impacting things negatively or positively, like it matters. But for the most part, people who are all like up in arms about all these things, they have zero impact negatively, positively. Like, nobody knows you're alive, dude. Like, nobody, I don't want to say nobody cares, because we care about all people.
of course.
But you're not actually helping anything. You're not strong enough to actually hurt anything. Like, you are literally just doing it to distract yourself, because you have zero impact on what actually happens in politics.
And do you want to know why most people have zero impact on politics? Because they ignore all of the local politics that actually impact their life, of what's going on in their city.
Travis is very passionate about this. And I'm so out of politics. I didn't even realize this until...
I'm not passionate about, first of all, real quick, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about high level politics.
Sure.
I'm very passionate about local politics, because
Yes.
as you've heard me mention in previous episodes, I do not like gentrification. I think it is a horrible thing that you can do to local communities.
Explain real quickly for anybody who just doesn't know like what gentrification might mean to you or.
I'll give you a prime example. If you live in an area that's got like a nice downtown in a bigger city, and then you all of a sudden just seen it change to nothing but vacant apartments and buildings that just go unlandscaped and everything, it's a similar concept to you just see this out of town, out of state, out of country money come up and gobble up all these buildings, businesses, commercial real estate, apartment complexes, and all that, and then boom. It's so high. You ruin the local community. Like, I'm sorry, like, St. Petersburg's not too far from us, and downtown St. Pete is nothing like it was 10 years ago. They tried that in Tarpon Springs, and it didn't work.
They didn't allow
And you
them
know
to
why?
because that community is so strong. They said absolutely
Because
not.
of the local politics mattered first.
They fought.
You literally can't go in there and buy a bunch of stuff with out-of-state money, and it's just going to fly. It's
So
not
Tarpon
gonna happen.
Springs is a local community to us. It's
a
Greek
city
town.
capital of
Everybody
the United
came.
States.
Yeah, everybody came over from Greece. That's where they planted their family. So it is literally has the strongest Greek ties. But not only it has nothing to do with being Greek, but that community is so strong that they're not going to allow outsiders to come in and destroy what they've built. And because that's what they fight for at the local political level, nobody was able to infiltrate that and ruin it.
Dunedin. There's a lot of fear that people can try with Dunedin. Dunedin is very artsy and crafty and super outgoing, and it's definitely diverse.
I think the problem with Dunedin's going to be it's a melting pot of all those artsy people, whereas Tarpon, it's families. It's they already have that bond because they're all the same immigration. So is Dunedin? I know they're really trying to not gentrify
They're
it.
trying to not gentrify by allowing a lot of out of town money come up and change what they have. But it'll lose its arts and stuff just like St. Pete did.
Yeah.
Now, there's still some in St. Pete, but look at all the buildings. They closed the old movie theater. They closed the museums. And these are historic buildings that have been around for decades.
And the price of
And rather
everything
than
has
fix
gone
them
up.
to make it a better opportunity for people to see, they just allowed anybody to come in, buy it, and turn it into whatever they wanted to.
Yeah. So yeah, you're very much against it. And I didn't realize
So yes,
how
your voice matters at the local level.
Yeah.
Your voice when you're chirping about who the president is, it's not
you're never going to meet him.
you're not going to change.
You're-
And not for nothing, you can hate the guy all you want, or female if if the day we get one, you're not going to spit on the president. I dare you. Like, it's not going to happen. I don't care
Right.
if it's Trump. I don't care if it was Obama. I don't care if it's Clinton. I don't care who. You're not going to spit on the president. Everybody can have that big, bold chest, but that's one person that is the definition of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to do it.
For better, for
I'm talking
worse,
about,
for
I'm talking
however
about
you
your
feel.
consequences. Fuck around and find out. Not Trump specifically. I have my own opinions of that man, but here nor there.
Yeah. So thank
Focus
you.
on your local politicians and your local policies first, because then what happens when it goes from local, it goes to your state.
But even
And here,
it
riddle
does
this.
matter when it goes up, but like it
does.
affects you directly when it's your local.
And this ties into the news, which is why I say if you overly devote to the news, it's bad for you. Because so topic number 2, your local news stations only talk about your local news, but so many people want to focus on the big networks, which then focus on all of the stuff going on in the country that isn't going to matter. 10, 15, 20 years ago, the news used to be tune in and here's what you missed going on today or this week.
Right.
Now it's what is the most rage bait, clickbait thing we can brainwash whatever side of the coin our network is on to keep our viewers going here, which again, doesn't help you in your day-to-day life. It actually sets you back. It makes you overly devoted. And again, if you actually want it to make change, you just simply need to focus on your local ties. And therefore, when it gets to local, it'll go to your state. And then when it goes to the state, then it goes up to the country. But so many people, tell me this, you've been here a long time. You've been where you, obviously in your hometown a long time. As an adult, just an adult at 18, I mean, granted you can't vote, but at 18, have you ever seen so many people focus on local politics like they do the presidential election? It's like people have no idea there's local politics.
Yeah.
That's how overly devoted to politicians at the highest power a lot of you are. You guys have no idea what could have been passed locally, what is trying to get passed locally. I mean, not for nothing, just not long ago, we finally got a young mayor over in Tarpon Springs. And for the first time in decades, it took him to step in to be like, yep, no more fluoride in the water.
Yeah.
The tap water.
That was a big deal.
Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you, I have told that to so many people, and they go, oh, I didn't hear about that. But you know what? I guarantee you they heard about what color tie some politician wore at the last meeting when there was a rage bait session. Like,
and that's exactly like another one of my big issues with politics is because like and just with anything that doesn't directly affect you or benefit you, especially as a high achiever. And if you're watching this, like you're a business owner, you're a high achiever, you are looking to do better things with your life. If you are filling your brain and your capacity and the amount that you can take in, like if you're filling those things, or if you're filling your brain with things, big, heavy topics that like you can't actually control and aren't actually helping any of those things, that leaves you less energy and less capacity to deal with the things that actually matter, including knowing what's going on at a local level. Because like the fact that fluoride is in our water or not directly affects my child's health. So fuck whatever Trump's doing or whatever that doesn't directly affect what's going on in this household, how long we're able to live, our brain health, our teeth health, our education, or any of those things that actually are going to get me from here to where we're going.
I know somebody on social media that actively complains about the last two presidents. Now, mind you, two different parties, right? They have done nothing but complain about the last two presidents.
True. Hold on. Sorry. I know people who have been complaining about the last two presidents too. So I don't know what party they are, but one of those presidents was clearly their party. I didn't even think about that.
Well, unless they're independent, who knows? But the point of that was they have done it for 6 consecutive years, going on 8, or getting to 8, rather. And they have everything going on in their life negative. The energy that they pour into specifically the presidential elections and what their party's doing and then what they're saying. I'm telling you, this person posts daily, and they're not some small, like in their field, they're a well-recognized individual. But when I tell you, I cannot recall the last time that this person has posted something positive or has gone right in their life. And I can only sit back, and I've pointed it out to mutual friends. If they say, hey, have you seen this post, blah, blah. I said, no, dude. I said, honestly, I've had to snooze that person multiple times. I won't unfriend them because they have family and we have ties and, stuff like that. But I will snooze somebody and don't show me your stuff for 30 days or whatever the timer automatically sets at. But every time it pops back up, it even if it's nothing to do with politics, they'll say, oh, I ordered this, and of course, look how it came in the mail. Oh, I wonder why, dude. You just put so much negative energy out there, you're attracting it.
Yeah.
You're attracting
it, and that becomes the only lens that you can look through.
Yeah.
So okay, so the point of what I want to bring to this conversation is no matter what you believe in, no matter how you feel about anything, XYZ, I really believe, and we do, believe in living intentionally. And if you are looking to grow your business, grow your family, do all of these positive things in the world, we're not saying you have to axe politics, but like be intentional about where you're putting your energy. Be intentional about what you're putting out there. Be intentional about, what you're adding into that capacity and how it's affecting you negatively or positively. Because a lot of people go through life not actively deciding who they're going to be, the outlook they're going to have on life, the impacts that the things that enter their mind are going to have. And if you are one of us, you just need to be more intentional about that. So if politics or any of that is part of your mission, I don't know, go for it. I'm not the one for you. But if your mission isn't to continue to have negative conversations and to continue to fill your mind with negativity and attract negative things and talk to people about things that rile them up in a not good way, like if that's not your mission, then I just want you to actively do an inventory with how often that actually is in your life and how many people you tap into on your social medias. How many I stopped scrolling Facebook years ago. And that has been such a transformational thing for me because my Facebook specifically is a lot of people from like my hometown and people I grew up with and like people who aren't doing things that I'm doing, which is totally fine. I love them.
They also
But
don't know who you are now. They only know you for what they remember you as before you moved.
And a lot of those people are still stuck in those ways, which is totally fine. But I have no interest in seeing their political views because one, there's no way that I want to look through life through your lens anyway. So not for nothing, I don't really care about your opinion because I'm going to have a different opinion on the same topic because I look through life through my perspective and my lens. And I'm very, very specific about not allowing other people's thoughts or judgments or perspectives infiltrate how I see the world. So I just want you to be intentional on those things as well, because not tapping into that from people that you don't even want to be like is a freaking game changer.
Which, as you just said, and it's funny because I'm on the same wavelength as you, so I pick up a different sound that you're putting out versus people that are watching and listening are, if you're only hearing it on the surface level of what she just said, you're missing the whole concept. She's not saying that your opinion isn't valid or your opinion isn't important. The difference is she literally said in the same sentence, her quote was, why would I care to look at through how you see it? I paraphrasing, sorry. I care through my lens. So we just touched on someone who constantly puts something on negative. So when something negative happens, they're only going to see it in a negative way. What she just said in the same sense that a lot of people didn't hear on the under the surface level was, I'm not invalidating you. I'm just telling you why I'm going to see it different than you. But as it comes out, people only hear, oh, so your opinion is superior or whatever the case, or mine doesn't matter to you. No, it does matter to me, but I don't have to agree.
Yep.
But if you're in a negative mindset and a victim mentality first method of thinking, you didn't hear that second message that wasn't stated.
That's so good. Thank you for pointing that out. And actually, right before I started going off about that, when you mentioned about like your friend or whatever who's always posting negatively, and then they post like, oh, this Amazon package came late. Me, naturally, I would be like, thank God that came late because it probably saved us from something. You know what I mean? Like I always find a reason
or you
that
had
like
to rush to get it that day anyway.
It worked out in your. Yeah. I would have reframed you to be like, oh wow, I'm so happy that happened because it actually worked out in our benefit in this way, and we didn't even know that. You know what I mean? Because
you literally said earlier we had to go to the mail room and pick up our package, and because you said, oh, I've been waiting on that, and I go, oh, that works out anyway. We have something coming today, so if that gets dropped off, we'll just hit both.
But what if that whoever we're talking about, they put, oh, this Amazon package, blah, blah. Well, now I'm looking through that lens or tuning into that when that's not even on the radar of how I want to think or how I naturally think or, you know, so that's the bigger issue for me is like, I'm just very particular about how I look through life, protecting my mindset, what goes in, what goes out, and anything involving the political world, because it's so biased, it's usually not based in fact. It's based on a lot of opinions and it automatically creates this negative energy, whether you agree with it or not. I'm just not interested in having that as a part of my world, besides having to know what's going on to benefit us. If that's not on the radar of like the political conversation, I'm not interested, and everybody that knows me knows that, and I make it very clear. So like my friends do not come to me with political conversations because I'm not the one. Hard boundary, let's talk about something else. Go talk to that with like your lower level friends. I'm not the one.
It's not even that, just the fact that it's not, or that it is just a hard boundary. It's the fact that we're naturally always trying to, if someone's going to come with a negative foot forward, we're always going to try to reframe you.
Yeah.
And if we don't give you 3 strikes. You say something once, we try to reframe it or open your mind. You say something again, we try one last time, and then if you go on the tangent, we just hit you with the, oh, okay. And like, that's it. Because your mind is made up. It can't change. And that goes exactly back to the start of the conversation of you're overly devoted for no reason. If you were so devoted, why don't you be a politician?
If that would be part of your mission and that would make sense for you. If it's part of your mission to be part of that world, go for it.
I don't know one person I've ever seen complain so much about politics or read about that they're in that world.
Yeah.
They're not.
No.
And you have a voice. It's freedom of speech. This is America. I'm all for it. However, show me on the tax bracket chart where it affected you or it holds you back from being able to do something. I guarantee you it didn't. You're holding yourself back. And tying into what I like to think is, like, again, back to the news has a huge portion is I am one of those people that believe that the news nowadays, like I mentioned, is not the news 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It is meant today to stir up drama and keep divide. That way there is an overly devotion to a political party, a religious party.
Why don't you be that devoted to your growth in your family,
rich
in your
versus
business?
poor divide? Like, you name it, it's there to do that nowadays because we as people in society seek something out for a distraction that can resonate with us. So we might be different than a lot of people because we're going to look for something that's going to elevate us. Because generally speaking, our life is pretty great and we're pretty happy. If people are negative and they don't like their 9 to 5 or there's constantly an issue going on with them, the first thing that they can resonate with that a news outlet puts out negatively, it's going to spark something out of them. And then that's going to give them a path to drive, or a road to just drive down with that anger and an outlet. And sometimes that outlet is a persuasion by a misleading factor in your brain.
Yeah, literally misleading. So now you're spiraling off about something that isn't even what you thought it was. I can't deal with it. And I can't deal with people who think that it's okay to put their energy there because, like, we're just not on the same page as far as that goes. Whether we're the same, I'm not a party, but whether we were like the same party with the same beliefs or not, like, I just can't make that make any sense. So I want to really offer that gift to whoever is watching this to just be mindful of where you're putting your energy. And if you're putting it somewhere that you can't affect anything anyway, I think there's some stuff you have to redo.
Side note, what is my favorite topic that people complain about the most?
I was going to bring this up as soon as I could.
That people bring up the most that actually impacts them literally zero.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is talking about the price of gas.
Oh my goodness.
I can get behind this one, which again, I'm so out of this. I never thought about it this way
Let me come from a healthy perspective rather than take a dig at anybody or come off that way, okay? Let's use round numbers.
Again, this is just to make you aware of where you're putting your energy.
Correct. This is the whole purpose. Let's say gas where we are is $3 a gallon. Again, we're rounding. It's higher than that, but we're going to just do round numbers. It's $3 a gallon. How many times in an uproar do we hear people go when it jumps 30 cents? 25. We'll do 25. 25 cents. All the time we see it. And it's, again,
the president ruined the gas prices.
We're not putting our energy here, but if we're going to a store or we're out doing something, like we have our head on a swivel at all times. So we're going to hear conversations sometimes that we don't intend to listen to. But if we're waiting in a line for food or we're waiting in line for coffee or something like that, then we're going to hear the topics being discussed just by being there. If it jumps up 25 cents, so many people act like that's $1 million because the news, again, being overly devoted, puts it out that way. Catastrophic increases to $3.25. These gas prices are like, they put it in your head.
We had people putting stickers on
pumps
because they were that distraught over prices.
Newsflash, the president may be able to assist in bringing or raising or lowering or rising gas prices, but they actually have almost no control over it. There's way outside factors, and it's not as simple as them saying, here we go, boom, hit the switch, and it's down or up. Anyway, $3 a gallon jumps to $3.25. Let's say your car puts 10 gallons. Again, we're just using round numbers. How much money did it cost you to fill your gas tank? I'm not even going to tell you. You could do the math on your own, okay? I can tell you right now, that fast food meal that you bought this week, because it was convenient, more than twice the amount that it would cost you to fill up your tank. More than twice the amount than what it previously did at $3 from $3.25. Second news flash. The only people that complain about the gas prices going up are also the same people that aren't filling their tanks.
Yeah,
You're not filling your tank anyway. That's not a dig. I'm just trying to show you where your mindset is. It's one thing if you had, I don't know, a truck and you had a CDL, and I could understand extra $100-$200 it might be to fill your gas, and that's a big deal, especially when whatever you're transporting is not generating you the extra money and increase of the gas. I understand that. But reel it back in. We're talking about everyday point A to point B folks that are just driving to and fro their 9 to 5, right?
Especially they'll be in like a hybrid car complaining. Like, come on,
And even
man.
that coffee, that fast food meal, the pack of cigarettes. Or here's one. I witnessed myself probably first year into COVID when the gas price spiked. Somebody complained in the gas station about how the gas went up 30 cents since, I don't know, it was a week or two ago it did at the time. But then I looked over and this person has the 16-ounce soda bottle from the cooler that cost $2.25. But he was too good to go get the Polar Pop for 79 cents for 64 ounces, or you can, whatever it would be for 32, and whatever it is. You just paid triple for your soda because you didn't make the proper financial decision for the soda, but you're complaining about the gas price. Do you understand how wild that is? That increase that you paid from, we'll do round numbers, 75 cents to $2.25, that $1.50 is more than the increase that you would see in adding 5 gallons of gas to your car.
Hello. And again, and I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, because we are, I don't even know if this is mostly entrepreneurs, but because we're very outcome focused and solution oriented, like naturally it's like, okay, I'll buy the Polar Pop instead of this, and this is how we make up for that, and this is gonna, you know what I mean? So
it's
instead
reinventing the wheel versus trying to create a whole new product.
Yes. And like, why would you put your energy into not positively just be like, okay, I'll redo this for this week and blah, blah, blah. And then I will focus on how to make more money instead of complaining about everything skyrocketing and this and that and the turmoil and blah, 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 when really how it affects you is so minuscule. And if you would just not entertain that negativity, reframe it in a positive way and find the solution, which is actually very, very simple. It's skipping one thing per week or whatever. It's finding one substitution and then maybe focusing your energy on how to be able to make an extra $5 a week.
It's not even making it, just shifting where it goes.
Yeah. And shoot, maybe you do want to make more. And now you have the energy to do that in a positive manner without affecting your family, your home life, your mindset, any of these things that like.
Here's a quote that's probably going to stir up some emotions. And I say this again, just to open your eyes, right? The increase of prices don't keep people poor. Decisions being made by people in poverty keep you poor.
Ooh. Hello.
Again, prime example with the soda.
Literally.
3 times the price, but complaining that the gas went up because your brain isn't programmed to find the solution.
Or the abundance.
You're going on autopilot here. You're literally just saying, this is what I like to do, and this is why I should have it. Well, that's great. People often say like, oh, well, if you didn't drink Starbucks for $7 a coffee for 10 years or whatever, like that's a down payment on a house. First of all, nobody is going to stop drinking their $7 cup of coffee and then magically put that into a savings with an interest growing account and then say 10 years later, I have a down payment on it. That's never going to happen. I don't even like when like financial people on the news put that out there. That's so stupid. I understand it's an example, but just even
that's very like low level.
Even clickbaiting that. Yes, I understand you're showing the concept, but like that's apples and oranges. They're not even apples to apples here. The point is, the decisions you make with your money, if you don't know how to stretch it, It's amazing.
That's the real issue. It's the lack of financial literacy and just how to, when an obstacle of any form, especially monetary, but like when that comes in your path, like how do you handle it?
Would you
sit there and
rather
cry?
be in a position to just not complain that gas went up 30 cents a gallon?
Literally. Let me tell you something. Yes, you would rather be in that position. You want to know how I know? Because I fought really hard to get in this position now. I want to be able to afford the overpriced gas and the $7 drink every single day. And because I put my energy into that, instead of complaining about the fact that this stupid coffee is $7 and gas went up, that's why I can afford both.
People often say that, rich people have no idea what a gallon of milk costs or something like that. Because they don't care. They're focusing on how to make money to not care.
That's it.
That doesn't mean they think they're better than you. It means they think better than you.
Oh, damn, that's good. It's so true.
You can use that.
I'm going to use it. I'm going to go back and clip this episode as soon as we're done. Because there's just so, again, I don't like politics.
It again, so there's a pause there. I'll say it loud and clear.
For the people in the back.
Rich people don't think they're better than you. They think better than you.
I'm snapping.
What do you guys do? Clock it.
Clock it. Oh, wait. Dang. It's really so good. And again, it's why I hate politics, but what I do like about anything, including this conversation, is the mindset shifts. It's the perspective. Like when you can just choose to look at these things and doesn't invalidate your feelings on them. Like we can still be upset that the price of things are going up because I don't like that people are getting priced out of living. I don't like that people are getting priced out of transportation and it's hard to find jobs and stuff. But what I'm going to do is make sure my family is superior to any of these changes. And when you actively make that decision to look at things through a perspective that allows that, your freaking life will change. Your business will change. Your relationship will change. Your family will change. Your health will change. It's backed up by science. Like what else do you need? So again, not saying right, wrong, this, that, or the third. You need to actively choose the perspective that you are looking at all this through. And maybe nobody laid it out this way. So you could even, I know before Travis, I never looked at it this way. I was just like, no, I didn't look at it at all because I just knew it wasn't fun. There was never a fun political conversation. There was never a growing one. There was never one that fueled me. None of that. So until he had me see it for what it is and laid it out so clearly to where I could still keep my boundaries up, but still also understand the why and the how, or, whatever's happening below the surface. And now I was able to choose my perspective that I see all of this through. Game changer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I actually end up liking this conversation a lot more. And there's one more thing I want to bring up that we have on our list that is, I feel like this whole thing, we're like walking on eggshells. Not really walking on eggshells, but either you're one of us or you're not.
Spit it.
It's the religion one, like about religion.
We have come to a point in this country where we no longer accept other people's religious beliefs first, and instead we try to force our personal religious belief on somebody else, especially ones that aren't religious.
And by we don't mean we. Yeah, he's talking about us as a whole, which is the issue.
And every religion was under attack in certain fashion at some point in this country. But why we tied it in is because maybe more now than ever, it's put in our face because of social media and news. But I am a firm believer that religion should never be the base of the recipe for a law to be put in place. Agreed. It has the current administration and a little bit of the previous one, there are absolutely laws that are being forced on U.S. citizens and Americans based on what their religious belief is. There's no way of disputing it. Yeah. They literally preach. Christianity says this, the Bible says this, so on and so forth. And it's just like, hey, There are more than just Christians in this country.
Especially in this country. We are built
The
off
most
diversity.
diverse. You cannot just make laws. You should not be able to. They are doing it, but you should not be able to make laws based on your religious beliefs. But as we said, by overly devotion, and this is why it matters, is some people are so overly devoted to a political party that they might not agree with some of their stances, and they might be persuaded sometimes to vote the other way. But the second they bring up that they're doing this reason for this religious belief, they got you.
Yep.
They got you, and they know they do, because that's what it's come to. We used to be able to talk to our friends and family in this country behind closed doors, never even in public, about what you thought about the candidates, where you're, did you go to church? Do I not go to church?
It used to not be everybody's business.
It used to not be everybody's business. And, this episode's already going in length, and I know exactly when the turning point happened.
Go for it.
No, I'll save it, but I'm telling you, it's 1,000% because a certain person became a president, and it's not Trump.
We'll let you ponder that. Yeah,
that's my whole heart. I would literally die on that hill by myself. I don't care, because that's when because so many people couldn't handle that a particular person became a president, that it caused an outrage, that now that same party needed to know from all of their friends where they stood in politics and religion.
That's so sick.
It increased, I should say. Now, granted, social media wasn't as big of a thing back then as it is now, so it has heightened, but it has never made more of an impact than now, and it was solely because so many people were in an uproar, just specifically on the fact. And again, what are we talking about here? Being overly devoted to something that you cannot change after it's done, and then you spend countless hours.
If you're listening to this, leave us a comment or send a message or something and let us know what you think he's talking about, or what president you think helped this political shift and now has.
If you have an IQ above room temperature, there's no shot you don't know who it is. You absolutely know who it is.
And I was actually going to say most people don't have an IQ above room temperature, but I think most people who would click on a podcast like this absolutely are in our realm. So yeah, let us know. I don't know. Yeah, comment.
So yeah, religion and religious beliefs have
no place in politics
at all, because politics are for the general mass.
Yes.
Assuming everybody is on your side is exactly the issue. Excuse me.
Yeah, and that's
we
I have
can
so
always
many issues,
and that's the problem nowadays too with the overly devotion. There's no more agreeing to disagree.
Yes.
It causes end of friendships. It causes relationships. It causes fist fights.
And there's
violence
so much
with weapons.
It's so sick. There's so much growth and goodness that comes out of agreeing to disagree.
Right.
So the fact that we can't even do that anymore, nobody's learning that skill. Nobody even knows how to listen to somebody's opinion that they actively disagree with, but still hearing the whole entire thing and hearing it for what it is, and maybe finding the parts of that you do agree with, because you're so quick to be shut off about
Correct,
it.
and that's what I was just about to say. Listen in, come here. How wild is it that if you feel comfortable enough to have a conversation with a loved one, friend that you know and is close with you, to hear what they have to say? Let's break that down. You know them enough, you love them enough, and you've been around them long enough that you're going to value, before they even talk, what they have to say. But when they're done, and because it may be the opposite of what you have to say, you think less of them completely rather than just take something from it. Now, obviously, there are outliers. If all of a sudden someone just goes off the hinge and you didn't know that, let's just say that they were okay with just like racism, right? Like they're just a blatant racist. Like you didn't know. Like that's one thing, right? But that's such an anomaly. So let's reel it back in and just simply say, like, even if you knew that they were the opposite political party as you, but they said something and you just basically want significantly less to do with them or none at all anymore, that says a lot more about you than them.
100%.
Why can't you agree to disagree?
100%.
You don't have to persuade them that they have to like what you like. But at the same time, why not try and understand where they come from?
Yeah.
And don't just, well, I tried. And no, you didn't, because you never let your guard down. If you couldn't agree to disagree after you let them try to explain themselves, you didn't let your guard down. You were so gung-ho on pushing your agenda onto them, you are not willing to accept their answer. Not one bit.
I hate that. And I feel like that's how every conversation happens when it's around any of these topics. And I guess lastly, my other like issue, which ties right into that, is that when it comes to like politics or anything that has like a lot of turmoil to it, I feel like it just makes me so sick that people are so devoted to their party or their person or whatever, that they're not actually actively taking into account their morals and values and beliefs and perspectives on each little thing. Because as a general statement, and this is nothing new, you should not agree with every little thing that all of your friends, even your spouse, even your parents, like there's nobody in the world, actually that might be a far statement, but in general, like you should not agree with absolutely everything that everybody says. That's normal. We are human. We're way too diverse. We're way too intricate. Like it would not make sense to be on the same page with anybody about anything.
And not for nothing, that'd be a very boring life.
Boring and small.
Which is why there are tax brackets for things. The houses don't cost the same across the board. Neither do cars. Like just because you have a driver's license doesn't mean you should have a Ferrari.
Yeah. Cars are, houses are all, exactly that. And it would just be, it's wild to me that people are so devoted. Like, let's make this super extreme, but like the Hitler of it all. People are like so devoted or scared or whatever, like the Hitler, that they're not even, so you might agree with like one part of what he's doing, but instead you go about and you create a whole genocide of an entire population because you're so devoted to him instead of deciding. There was that one thing that he was very correct on, which was like his Christian value or whatever. But like there were all these other things that I actually don't agree with because they don't make sense for my life or where I want to go or what I believe in.
She's not talking about Hitler being a Christian.
I'm not. I don't even know what he was. Whatever. That was not a good example. But the point is, like, there should be nobody or no one party where you're like, I agree with absolutely everything. There should be little bits of everything and everybody that you agree with, or you see where they're coming from, or you understand why. Like, it's just so weird to me that people are so like, I'm a Democrat, I'm a MAGA, whatever the fuck. And like, they force themselves to believe in every single part of that party, which shows me that you don't have a brain that can think or make decisions for itself. And that's the actual issue. Because I believe with a little bit of this, I believe a little bit of that. Some of this works with my values and morals. Some of this will make my family better and healthier. And you make those decisions accordingly.
You know where majority of that comes from? That decision-making of sheeple? The news.
Yes, the news. Oh, God. Which there are some things on the news where I'm like, wow, that's right. Or I need to dig a little deeper into that. Or I agree with that. Or I disagree with that. Like, make your own decision. I don't care who's spewing it. It could be God himself. Well, maybe not that. But anybody. And if you disagree with it on a moral level, like, make that decision. That's what really sickens me. So much of this. The overly devoted. You're devoted to something you don't even believe in, but you're choosing to start agreeing with things you don't believe in or that don't actually benefit you because you're overly devoted to that party or that person or that thing, which is quite sick. You need to have a brain for yourself. You need to have some discernment. You need to intentionally decide every decision for your family. And that's how you're going to create a life that you actually freaking like, filled with people that you actually love, because they also have brains to think for themselves, because hopefully you put up boundaries around all this other bullshit. And it's really, really important these days because, like you said, with social media and the news, is we never have had access to this much information before, and it's only getting worse and worse. So now as a human, more than ever, it is so important for you to decide what information you're going to allow into your brain and what you believe to be true and not.
How to critically think, because there was something that came out that said, every day that passes, more information is put on the internet than, what was it, 20 days?
It was sick.
It was a sickening amount. And you just
it was
sit there
20x, like all the information in the whole entire interweb. Think about that. That's an insane amount of information.
It's a wild amount of information. And that's the problem.
20x is every week or something.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
So if you haven't learned the skill,
And that's why, because of all of that, a lot of people just want to be told what to do.
sure, they're tired of thinking. But the ones that get ahead are the ones that have built this muscle. So you get to decide, what are you going to do?
And honestly, if it hasn't been working for you, maybe you should start thinking for yourself.
Yeah. Just try it. Give it a try. Let me tell you, things are great on this side where we use our brains.
It's not like cooking. You can't just follow the recipe thrown in front of you when it comes to politics, religion, and the news and just be like, oh, well, that's there, so let's try that. It clearly has not been working in the favor of a lot of people in America. So try not to just follow that recipe. Maybe you should, do a little, is there any swap outs that I can do?
Yeah. If it's not working for you, like in anything in life,
You
business,
might be
whatever.
allergic to that recipe.
Literally. And if you would just change to lactose-free milk, you can enjoy the damn brownie.
Yeah.
But instead, you're sitting here in misery.
Eating the milk-filled brownie.
It's wild. So yeah, learn some discernment. Learn to change things about your life that aren't working, including the conversations and where you put your energy and the things on your news feed, and just start making your own decisions. Because when you build that muscle, and this is what I love to talk about, when you build the muscle in that realm, so say you start putting up these boundaries in politics, watch how you're going to be able to put up boundaries in your personal life and in your business life. And when you build the muscle in politics of figuring out, this is for me, this is not for me, I do believe in this, I don't believe in this, watch how you're going to be able to choose what you believe in and don't believe in your friendships and in your relationships and in the housing market if you want. Like literally just making decisions that make sense for you. So yeah, please start building that muscle, y'all, because it is getting real rough out here.
I would like to say that we love you no matter what. We just want to see what's better for everybody. And so these conversations are strictly to just open eyes, like we mentioned multiple times in this cast.
And we didn't take a side on anything. These are all general statements about the perspectives and the why we believe in.
There's so many people that walk around and assume what I believe in, what I vote for. And I guarantee you could be guessing and throwing spaghetti at the wall and it might stick sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, you're wrong.
Nobody knows my political views except for you, really. Like, not even my family, who they strongly believe in what they believe in.
We don't even talk about, and so people are like, oh, you have to talk about politics or else you're never going to make it with your partner. It's like, or hear me out. Hear me out. If you realize people can have 2 different minds and get along, it could work. We've been together for 9 years, almost never have anything to really like argue about. We have disagreements, of course, but they're not yelling matches and degrading matches and I'm sleeping on the couch and like all this crap that people talk about in their marriage. Like we don't have those problems because we have communication skills. And so check this out. If people don't think that we're just perfectly matched, like first of all, she's black, I'm white. She comes from a very blue state. I'm from a very red state. She grew up in a mixed household. I grew up in a mixed community. Yes, we had mixed household as well with some of our family members that live with us, but we're talking pure. Like we are literally, before we came together, about as opposite as possible.
We are still just about as opposite as possible. But what we are not opposite about are our goals, our morals, our beliefs, our values, like those very internal things. So we don't have to have these political conversations. And mind you, we don't stop talking about really deep stuff. Like there is no shortage of conversation. Politics does not even cross our mind because each individual situation that comes up, we already know where we stand from a moral and like values perspective. Right. So it doesn't matter who or what is on the other side of this topic. We both stand firm in our belief in it because we're on the same page of where we're going and how we're getting there and the goodness that we believe about it.
And honestly, I'll just say this last thing and then we'll hit them with some joy, is it almost comes off as if the people that want to say that you have to have the same political view as your partner to be like thriving and all that stuff, it's almost like you're also part of the issue of when I say you just want to be like just overly devoted. It's like you guys want to die on a hill and stand together. And like, it's just like, that's just you not being as adulty as possible to be able to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Like, imagine if you were that devoted to something that was
Each other.
actually going to better you. Yeah, like your relationship, getting on the same page, your
Have a weekly
communication.
conversation about what's going on with each other, like
Yeah.
personally and together. And I guarantee you, you wouldn't have to worry about, oh, I pissed my spouse off today. I got to sleep on the couch. Like,
That has never even, I just feel bad for the fact that that is part of people's lives, because that's never once in our 9 years together been on the table.
it's wild.
Like, what is that even? I don't care. I don't even want to know like what that feels like. And I hope y'all don't know as well, or you can also like get yourself out of that, because like it is better when you just learn to use your brain and get on the same page about the things that matter. Because every situation or problem that comes after that, it doesn't matter, because if you tackle it from where you want to go and your morals, beliefs, values, and all those things, like the problem itself doesn't matter. The political stance of it all doesn't matter.
Nope.
Doesn't even cross our minds. And we're out here thriving. So
On that note,
on that note,
we don't live in Atlanta, but it's always peace up, A-Town down.